Hey, it's me, just some person. That one person to be exact, and this is my art channel. Today I'm tackling a challenge that took me multiple months, but in the end, I think it all ended up being worth it. I really like VTubers. I really like VTubers. More specifically, I really like the creativity of VTubers. A big make or break thing for me is the VTubers model. The art, the design, and the concept all have to work together in order to make an appealing VTuber. So when a VTuber by the name Kayoza announced that she'd be hosting a design contest in order to help her friend get a new model, I knew I had to participate. Well, kind of. I think being sick with the flu was a contributing factor to my decision-making process that day, but regardless of that, I got to work as soon as possible. Stella Fos is a non-binary wishing star VTuber who had previously designed and made their own models. And now, with these guidelines in mind, they are taking submissions in order to rebrand with a newer and nicer model. The things needed for a good VTuber model is a recognizable theme, a striking and strong silhouette, emphasis on the upper body since that's what's showing most of the time, and a consistent color scheme that is no more than 5 colors, not including black, white, or skin tone most of the time. You know, it kind of includes skin tone if you're like purple or something, but other than that, not including skin tone. My original plan was to make 3 designs. Well, actually, my original plan was to make 1 design, but then I came up with more ideas and I was like, well, there was no cap to how many designs I can make, so that was something I kept joyfully repeating to myself this entire competition. I just could not stop making designs. A lot of footage has either been lost to time or I forgot to record, so I barely have any footage to show for earlier parts, but I do have things to say. Design 1. This was my holy grail design that I thought would get me to at least the top 6 for sure. But looking back at it after the fact, it's really bad. Why is it bad? Well, despite the fact that this was just the concept work design I wanted to make, you can already tell it's lacking what makes a good VTuber design. Not enough interest on the upper body, a poor, uninteresting silhouette, and a color scheme that feels boring and dull. Despite this, it is pretty on theme. It has edgy elements, it's galaxy themed, and the shorts are kinda like Blackrock Shooter's shorts, though I feel it might be lacking a bit in the idol department. Design 2. Here I was leaning heavily into the idol department and using a pastel space dream-like color scheme. I got this color scheme from trying to utilize the pinky reds and yellows that were in the original design. As the video goes on, I'll be straying farther and farther from those colors. Like the last design, I not only made the upper body uninteresting, but I also put a lot of details on the lower portion of the body, which is even worse for a VTuber design. Design 3. Once again, I tried using aspects from the original design's color scheme, but I also tried to lean into the edgy department. This design was also heavily influenced by Magical Mirai 2023 Miku, which is the Miku variant I am very obsessed with, especially since it was made by Lamb. I think this design has the most interesting silhouette, with the other 2 being pretty boring in that regard. After a bit, I got 2 more ideas, and my plan to make only 3 designs changed to 4 designs, and a redesign of Stella's ethereal form. Design 4. The worst so far. I didn't even like this design when I first made it. Everything about it is super boring and the colors are the only thing that are kinda bearable. The silhouette is bad, it barely delivers on any of the themes, and it's not even delivering on anything space or galaxy. It's terrible as a design, and even worse as a VTuber design. Ethereal Design 1. It's alright. The galaxy part could use some major work, and the gold parts definitely feel pretty blocky and solid, but overall it's not a bad concept. Second wave designs. I have no idea what happened, but I have no footage of me making these cleanups, which was heartbreaking to me because I feel like most of the designs improved drastically from their original concepts. For example, Design 1 has a much better galaxy look going on. I feel cleaning up the design led to an overall more uniform looking outfit, though I feel now it does reveal how flat things like the hair, colors, and jewelry look by comparison. Cleaning up the design also didn't help with the silhouette as much as I thought it did when I finished. Design 2. Well, first and foremost, the gold looks way too dark and doesn't really match the colors. The colors themselves were changed heavily from the original and now resemble the colors I used for design 1. The thing with the detail problem did not get fixed since most of the details are still in the lower half. It's clear I tried to combat this by adding a choker, but it just didn't work very well. I think the hair did gain more shape, which strengthened the silhouette, but overall it's not a great VTuber design. Design 3. Probably the one that improved the most. The dark blue and the black gives it more of a black rock shooter vibe. Black being the main color just makes it more edgy in general. The hair is still a bit flat, but much better than the others. The jacket and hair gives it the best silhouette by far. The silver also works pretty well here, makes it feel like stars in the night sky. I'm also glad I got rid of the double belt and traded it in for 2 suspenders and 1 normal belt. It makes the design look more uniform. Design 4. This might be the biggest glow down in history. It's just so bad. Making the shirt shorter was not the move. This light blue as the main color looks terrible. There's no harmony, it's just like chaos with a terribly boring silhouette. Ethereal Design 1 looks much better. The face is ugly, but overall it looks better. Still, I think it can be improved by adding more interest to the upper body. The flowy shawl looks much better though, and I like that I made it see-through. Third wave designs. There has now been a major time skip. It has gone from like beginning of February to early April. I've done a lot more designing since the beginning, and I've actually started using references. After coming back, I really started seeing the flaws in my designs, and I've begun to brainstorm ways to fix them. Stronger silhouettes, more pleasing colors, closer to the themes, and overall more interest, especially on the upper body. Design 1. This one had one of the best glow-ups in my opinion. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the colors, which was harder than I thought. If you didn't know, the eyes had to be yellow and the hair had to be like this blue color, which means those 2 colors have to be part of the final color scheme as well. So I tried incorporating those colors in any way I could. For most of the speed paint, I was also very content with having the inside of the jacket be galaxy, just for the sake of staying away from the original concept design. As cute as I think the inside jacket being galaxy is, I ended up going back with having the bodysuit be galaxy. After that, I ended up deciding on what to use for the accent colors, but I was struggling with the ratios of this blue and this yellow. On top of that, I kept trying to include the color I was using for the hair, which means I was trying to balance 3 accent colors. After a lot of trial and error, I finally decided on the colors. For some reason, I decided to render every single one of my designs, even though I really didn't need to, but rendering the final designs actually made it easier to do the back view, or at least easier for me to do the back view. It was only when I started the second design when I decided to also add a mini illustration on the side. But I'm glad I did that because it gives a really good look at the design in action. I'm proud of this one. I think it looks very clean. It captures the themes very well with a little bit of inspo from Black Rock Shooter with the shorts, overall edgier elements like the jacket and boots, with the overall outfit being like an edgy idol costume with a clear space/star theme going on. I think this one also ended up being the one that strayed the least from Stella's original design, which is definitely saying something. Design 2! This one changed a lot from its original concept. I realized what I was trying to do with the white cropped shirt wasn't working, and I had to come up with something different. I also removed a lot of details from the lower body to make room for more interest on the upper body. For colors, I actually decided on some pretty quickly, at least much quicker than the last one. The design I ended up with turned into a Rockstar-esque vibe. Get it? Rockstar? I'm so clever. Anyway, I feel with this one I also leaned into a more femme idol look that has some edgy elements but is mostly pretty tame. I knew immediately after making it, it probably didn't have the best chance at winning, but I decided to roll with the idea anyway. I could have changed things around and experimented with colors a bit more to try and give this design a better chance, but oh well. I ended up also adding an alt choker color since I was having trouble deciding on the color of the choker. This was also the first design I decided to make a mini illustration for. The silhouette also improved quite a bit it. Overall, I like how it turned out, and I'm glad I went with what I went with. Design 3! This design already had the best silhouette, so all I had to do was exaggerate some shapes that were already in it. Though I did struggle a bit with making it resemble a star and not a lightning bolt, this one was getting eerily close to becoming a blue electric character. I also added a constellation tattoo that I completely made up. It has no real constellations on it, but it does look cool. You might have also noticed the addition of a halo to each design. The original ethereal version of Stella's design had them, so to add more upper body interest, I added them to most of my redesigns. I had no idea what I wanted to do for colors. I was very close to going with a purple galaxy scheme, but after a lot of messing with the hue adjustment dial, I ended up going with a green, teal, blue galaxy thing. I also added 2 alts to this design, one having a mask and the other just being with the goggles on. I think the silhouette turned out very cool. I think it looks like a spaceship star-esque shape that encapsulates the theme very well. The yellow eyes with the blue pupils are also something I only did with this design, which I think makes it look more out of this world. This one though was giving less idol pop star and more kind of space fugitive or adventurer, which probably means it has less of a chance of winning. I didn't really like this one at first, but I've actually started to warm up to it, and I'd be happy if it were to place. Design 4. Something I haven't talked about yet is the logos I made for each design. I wasn't planning to make logos until I started getting ideas for logos, which made me want to do one for every design. This logo is definitely one of my favorites, and I think it complements the design very well. I changed this design the most and gave it the biggest glow up. Before, it was ugly, boring, and lacking interest. But then I started looking at Black Rock Shooter, and the inspo led to me creating my most Black Rock Shooter design yet. Mostly being black and dark blue with hints of light yellow that when shaded turned into more of a mustard yellow. The many chains and sparkles give it this kind of royal vibe. The hair is very silly, but it helps make the silhouette stand out. This design also has a good alt that kind of reminds me of Raven from Teen Titans. I personally love this design. I think it does a really good job at delivering on themes, though it may be lacking in the idol department. The mini illustration for this design couldn't fit on the page, so instead I drew it on a separate canvas, which means I had more room to work with. I realized after the fact that this illustration doesn't really demonstrate how the design could look in action, since he mostly just sees Stella's back, but regardless of this, I think it turned out pretty nice. Ethereal Design 1. The first thing I wanted to change was the upper body. More importantly, the face. The face was absolutely terrible, so I felt the need to fix it first. Going back to this design made me realize how flat and boring it was. I changed the hair a bit and made things like the shawl bigger to give it a more interesting silhouette, but overall I was mostly focused on adding details. I added some gemstones in hopes of balancing some colors, and I added more gold accents. This design is very Greek god-like, and I feel makes Stella seem more like some sort of space deity. This design is also pretty masculine, which is something I haven't talked a lot about, was me trying to balance the mask and femme to create more of an androgynous look for Stella. Though, in the end, I think the outfits themselves leaned into more femme looks. On top of this ethereal design, I also made a complete star form and some lore based on what I learned from watching Stella's streams and from looking at this older character sheet of Stella. The lore goes something like this. Fragments of stars formed Stella, who roamed the universe for years until finding Earth, where they discovered music. And now Stella travels the galaxy, performing for all who choose to listen, whilst maintaining a residency on Earth. So that's it, right? Those were all the designs I was planning on making, so why isn't this the end of the design section? Well, fourth wave designs! I was feeling pretty insecure about my designs, and thought only 2 had a really good chance of winning, so I wanted to bump that number up to at least 3, and make a design that delivers on the idle part of the prompt more, and that also still captures the other prompts too. I sketched up something in my sketchbook, and then I took the process to digital. I also started making this while watching one of Stella's VODs, where they designed idol outfits for their friends. This actually gave me a lot of insight about what Stella likes in their designs, and what they favor, so I decided to use that to my advantage. Half skirts, chest windows, translucent gear, and boots were some of the things that I found out they liked and decided to incorporate them all into my design. I was very tired while making this sketch, and I barely even wanted to do colors by the time I was done, but I continued trying to push through. At first, I was thinking about going with what colors Stella already had in their design, but I really hated that stupid red-pink color that they use, and for the life of me, I could not figure out how to incorporate it. So instead, I just opted for a color scheme that doesn't include any color like that. I tend to decide which sections should be black, and then I go in with colors since I found that that works best when trying to figure out what fits and what doesn't. I came back to this drawing like a week later and decided to finally finalize things, except I was really struggling with what metal color to use since this was the first design that I didn't just need to use gold to match the eye color. So it was the first time where I was truly torn between gold and silver. After a lot of back and forth, I decided to go with gold for the main showcase, but to add silver as an option on the side just in case. Because I ended up being more thorough with the line art, the shading took less time and everything ended up cleaner. The whole shading process and drawing the back process also went smoothly. Bumps only appeared slightly when I was trying to draw the translucent cape part thing. After I finished the main stuff, I added one of the only glow-in-the-dark variants where the gold doesn't glow, and a halo alt that I ended up really liking. I think the halo alt actually brought it all together really well and added interest to the upper body, so I ended up including it with my mini illustration. I ended up having a good time working on the illustration, and it ended up being one of, if not my favorite one yet. The pose is fun, it showcases design well, and overall it's the least wonky looking one with the cleanest look. The only thing I don't like about this design is its silhouette. Overall, I think this design had the worst silhouette, which is a shame because the design itself is one of my better ones. But that's it, right? My last design. But wait, there's more. I wanted to not only do another ethereal design, but I wanted to make a mini illustration for not only the new design, but also the first ethereal design. I was feeling very insecure about my first ethereal design, and I thought if I gave it a mini illustration, it would showcase the design better. Ethereal design 2. For my second ethereal design, I went for a design that more closely matched the original model Stella had. I kept things like the leotard, chest opening, and the double halo that I was actually gonna put in my first ethereal design, but I guess I forgot about it or something. Anyway, I wanted my second ethereal design to feel more like an updated version of Stella's original design, with elements of the star form I made earlier. I did a very bad job at drawing the hands, but oh well. Shading in general was kinda hard this time, cause I wasn't sure how to shade a skin-tight leotard, but I think it worked out okay. There are flowy sleeves and lots of see-through galaxy parts that match the original design, but more golden jewelry because I felt like it needed it. I added this neck part thing. I thought it completed the design more, and it added more color. It also made it so the gap looks like a giant star, which is pretty cool. I think overall I've been doing a pretty good job including star motifs throughout my designs. Instead of having the star part show through as an arm and glove type thing, I decided to make it more of the limbs fade into the star part. Overall, I think the design ended up being more feminine and cuter, and giving Stella more of a gingerly vibe. What a cutie patootie! Mini ethereal illustrations. Now, for the mini illustrations, these are probably my favorite mini illustrations yet. I feel the poses I chose highlight the different strengths of both designs. One feels more godly while the other feels more kind. I did a lot of sketch layers in order to get the best possible results for the pose and outfits. Doing a lot of sketch layers or spending a lot of time on the sketch is very important because those are the bones of your drawing. If the sketch is bad, you'll either end up with a wonky final drawing, or you'll have to spend more time trying to fix it with line art, which is never fun. For some of these other illustrations, I wish I would have spent more time on the sketches, but I didn't, which saddens me. The line art process for these was both fun and a nightmare. Some parts were easy and satisfying, while others just looked very complicated and made me not want to even attempt them. But after struggling with line art, I could finally move on to colors. Somehow, I was able to grind and do colors and line art in the same sitting, so that was crazy. The coloring was the same as always, very repetitive and straightforward. I did enjoy the shading though. I felt like I was doing my victory lap when I was shading. I felt very proud I made it to the end, with results that I actually enjoyed. I just really like how the one for the second design turned out. I feel like it demonstrates the design much better than the actual image does, so that's it, right? That's all I wanted to do, and now it's done, so why is the video still going? Actual final designs. Like on the 26th of April, 4 days before the competition would end, I decided to make not one, but 2 more designs due to anxiety getting the best of me. At first, I just wanted to make one more, but the temptation of the second design idea I got while working on the first one was too tempting, and I caved. I looked at references and idol costumes until I finally decided on what to go with. Designs 6 and 7. Now I had a clear idea in mind for these designs, but I was completely clueless when it came to colors. I did so much just to decide on colors. I kept trying different combos in hopes of having something stick, but nothing was looking good enough to me. I ended up deciding on trying 3 different color palettes for each design, in hopes that something out of the 3 would stick. I ended up making a really nice color scheme for design 6 that I liked a lot, and it turned out really clean. But the other design was a living hell when it came to dealing with colors. I ended up having to ask my friends which looked best and got treated to very mixed results. The overall consensus was between these 2 color palettes, and at first I was gonna go with this one, but after some thought, I went with the alternative. To be honest, I still think both look good. I just really needed to pick one because by now it was already nearing the end of April 27th, which means the deadline was rapidly approaching. Next, it was time to finalize design 6 with shading, back view, mini illustration, etc. I feel my shading was quite basic and didn't do as much as the others did, but I think the design turned out very cute. I like how clean it looks. I like how immaculately it matches the themes that were given. I like how this one also resembles the ethereal designs a bit with the yellow hair streak. So where it lacks in shading, I think the design itself makes up for it. The mini illustration was a completely different story though. At this point, it was near the end of April 28th, and I started rushing things out of fear. This rushing meant I spent less time on the sketch and more time trying to create a passable illustration, which I think I succeeded on, but some areas are still a little wonky, and I forgot to put a blue gem in one of the earrings, which is a real shame. Now it's time to finalize design 7, aka the real final design. The day, April 29th. Something I'd like to admit, first and foremost, is that I thought everything had to be done before April 30th, but in reality, it had to be done on April 30th, so I was very mistaken, but it's like, whatever, I guess. Anyway, I rendered things like the clothes first, and then I started working my way to the hair, then to the skin. After that, I continued on to doing the back view. I feel I really managed to polish up my process after doing this for 6 other designs, and now I feel more confident with what I'm doing in general. My last priority was doing the mini illustration, just because I feel it's the least important thing I've been including besides the logo. In the end, I was not able to finish the mini illustration and I had to leave it unshaded, which sucked, but it also meant I was done. It's over. Final thoughts and retrospection before the results. First and foremost, I would not have made this many designs if I had to do a side view. I was extremely ecstatic when I found out this competition only required a front and a back view. In fact, it was one of the only reasons I decided to participate in the first place. It just sounded easy, but I also learned a lot. I learned things about general character design, Vtuber design, and color design that I had no idea about before, and now I feel much more confident in these fields. I also learned a lot about project planning, pacing myself, and what I'm capable of with my projects. It was a long journey that started in early February and ended in late April. But overall, I'm glad I went on this journey. I think I came out a better and more efficient artist because of it. But you aren't here for that, are you? You're here to know if I won or not. Results!
Next honorable mention! That one person's art! That one person's art submitted so many designs! And they were all so banging! And honestly, guys, I flip-flopped between which one was my favorite of all of them so many times over. But this one, with the goggles, the big jacket, the cutouts on the side of the pants, the midriff, the galaxies. Oh my god, it's so, so cool. Right? This design is so banger. It is edgy. It is idol. It is punk. It's not, I don't know what I'm saying anymore, guys. The mask as well, the goggles, oh my god. Cooler Stella, what? Honestly, yeah, this is the cooler Stella, but so much. Yeah, the little logo on the back too. The custom logo is so cool. A hip window was what got me crazy. Yeah, yes, thank you so much, that one person's art. This was so insane. I was like, literally, this was so close. Thank you so much. We got like every aspect of this I was eating. And every one of that one person's art's designs were so like, they had the same vibe, but they were also so different. Oh my God. But yeah, thank you so much, that one person's art.
I did not win, but as you can see, I was an honorable mention, aka a runner-up. While Stella enjoyed all of my designs, they favored Design 3 the most out of all of them, which was a little surprising to me. Design 3 ended up being the second to last honorable mention, which means out of over 300 designs, mine was in the top 10. Stella also went over all the designs entered into the competition, which means they ended up saying more about my other designs, and here's what they had to say.
That one person did multiple designs, and this was one of them. Guys, all these designs slapped. I've told myself I'm picking between, like, if someone submitted multiple designs, I'll pick my favorite of those. They're just also cool, like, such cool vibes, cool rocker vibes. Guys, it was so hard. I went back and forth, right? No, I love this little logo. I love this little logo so much. They just kept cooking. They cooked, for real. But this is the back of one of the designs. This was, like, the sketch that went with the design. The next one was, like, alternate outfits as well. So there was, and then they even wrote me like lore, and that's like so cute. But yeah, like if you didn't know, I'm gas. I'm a star. I made a gas. So it's like the gaseous form gets a little look, and then this is like kind of a fancy form, like a god form. Correct? Like this is so good. Gas. It's gas. You're so right. All the jewelry and whatnot. Oh, like, I love that the gaseous body parts became gloves and boots. I think that's really, really cool. But this, like, wraparound scarf thing that you see in, like Japanese folklore and whatnot, especially with, like, what is it, like Kaguya-sama? Oh, so cool. The colors are beautiful. And that, like, deep navy. Oh, regal royal blue. You love to see it. Oh my god, this is so pretty. And like the facial markings too. So pretty. So pretty. Then we had, but this is the one that I had as an honorable mention. And guys, I went back and forth on which one was my favorite of these designs. But this is the one I settled on that day. It's goggles. This one is so cool. This one's so stinking cool with the giant jacket and like the constellation tattoos and stuff. This one is so stinking cool. Again, like the star cutout on the zipper pull. Oh, that's how I draw it now. My zippers now, but I don't anymore because I didn't in the beginning because I wasn't smart enough. So many fun earrings and accessories with like the goggles and the mask. Like, oh, very cool. That giant jacket is insane. We got rings. We got belt. We got hip cutouts. We got jagged edges. We got big old clunky like the nice socks. Oh, so good. The logo on the back, and then they included like silhouettes, like how it would look on stream, what would glow, and then again more little sketches of the designs. Absolutely incredible. Like, I want this. I want this in real life. I want this outfit. I will wear this out. Please, it is so good. Here was the other design. So this was the one we saw from the back. This one has a freaking hood, you guys. Look how edgy and cool that is. And we have that long scarf again, the really cool shorts and the gloves, tall boots. And like the crop top with the cutout and all that. It's, the shapes are so good. The shapes are so good. And then we have like the glowing as well. And like there's a different, I think if I remember correctly, there's a different logo for every single design. Absolutely insane. Then there was this one. This one's also really cool. This one with like the leotard with the cutout and the necklace that sits right there. I took this as like, you can see it as kind of puffy, but to me it looked like smocking, and I love smocking. I think smocking is like one of the coolest things in sewing. And then like we have the ruffly shorts and the fingerless gloves, the tall boots again. Mwah, delicious. And look at that pose. Look at that, like, that condescending asshole. I love them. So many good ideas and another new logo. Like, this is just so good. This one was really different. This one was like very like pop idol almost. So like a little K-pop like mixed with J-pop. But then there was a different logo, different everything. The purples here are insane. So seeing like more purple is awesome, and all the hair accessories. Also, there's like a different hairstyle for every single one of these too. Madness. Absolute madness. More chunky boots. We love. Like, look at the fucking foreshortening here. Look at the foreshortening. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And like all the silhouettes are so cool. All the silhouettes are so cool. Ah, that one person again, cooking. How dare you? This design is so cool with like it's more similar to my current design with the yellow bodysuit, as well as like the slit skirt and like a cropped top to it. But oh guys, this one's so cool. I love this sheer back skirt piece so much. Fun. Oh my goodness, I want to put this on everything. Again, another new logo on the back from that one's person's art. There's a halo included, which is so pretty. The silver option is put out there, but the gold is so good. I love how every belt, even like on the arms and like the hip, like everywhere there's like that blue belt sort of look, there is a star on it. Yes, as there should be, but the 5-pointed star is right in the middle, which is funny because there's four of the 4-pointed stars, and then there's the 5th one is the 5-pointed star. It's almost like magical girly a little bit. It's very fun. It's a very fun design. I love the haircut of this one too. So fun, like the out, like the very fun. I see like a hair flip with that if I wasn't lagging. This doodle is also really fun. This is one of my favorite of the doodles done for all the designs. It's so fun. Thank you again, that one person. So we already saw this design before for like the alternate concept look. So fun, but then we have this one too. They are both so cool. This one's kind of like almost superhero-like, and this one's like god-like, but it's so cool. And I love the fade to the gassy stuff. You guys better believe I'm gonna make that happen. But this one's really fun because it has all these cutouts of the different space designs, and I think we see it better over here. Yes, we do. I remembered. But it's just so much fun with like the dual halo and the face tattoos, the deep V. We love to see it. The pectorals. Let's go. But it is very similar to my current fancy outfit. But then we like opened up the legs, so it's like a train rather than just like layers and layers of skirts. But yeah, oh, the extremities being that gaseous blue. So good. I really love the belt too. The belt really ties it together. So fun. If I win computer using these alts, that's such a good face. That's such a good face. I love the contrast of like, whoa, regal design, and it's so cute. Ah, this one's also so awesome. This is like a rock star through and through. This one has like the star cutouts on the sleeves and the black and white leotard and more of the belts and the fun boots and whatnot. Another train, like another like coattail skirting thing. I don't have words for it. This one is just such a solid design overall. It really borrows from a lot of the other designs that one person did. And then it's kind of like put together in like the final form. It is so much fun. And again, look at that lovely character art doodle there. Oh, so pretty. Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite part of this one. This one's just really good too. I flip-flopped back and forth between which one was my favorite of that one person's art, and this one was up there, and then it was like two of the other, like a couple of the other. Goodness, it was so hard. It was so hard to pick which one to put up there. I have another one. This one's so different from all the other ones. It is so cool. The cutouts in the pant legs are really fun. This is again another like kind of superhero-y, and like the character concepts really align so well, but it really shows, like, it really matches the personality of the outfit so well, because you could be like, oh, maybe this is like a big hip-hoppy thing, but with the weight of the fabric, you kind of have to be a little bit more slow, a little bit more cool of a character with something like that. Really, really, really fun. I love the belt here, again, with like the 4 and 5 pointed stars. I love the colors too, how vibrant like the blue is. Oh, so fun. Oh, and of course we have like that fun scarf thing going on. So fun. Thank you so much.
Final thoughts. This is where my journey with this contest comes to a close. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, and I've had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed seeing this as much as I enjoyed doing this, but now I'm left with one dilemma. What the hell am I gonna do with all these designs?